Divide monomials and polynomials. In division, when there are exponents with the same base, then you subtract the exponents. So let's go ahead and look at our first example to see how this is done. Solve for the following. So we have 6a to the third, b to the fifth, divided by 2a squared, b to the third. So like before, we're going to treat our numbers the same. So we would just go 6 divided by 2, which is equal to 3. So we've done that before. Next, we're going to look at a to the third divided by a squared. So when we have the same base, which is a, what we do is we bring up this exponent and we subtract it. So that's how we do division. So we would go a to the third minus 2. So that is equal to a to the first power. Next, we deal with b to the fifth divided by b to the third. So we have b to the fifth divided by b to the third. So we're going to bring this exponent up because we have the same base, so we can go ahead and subtract. So we got 5 minus 3, so that is b equals squared. So when we add this all up together, it's just 3ab squared. And this would be our solution to this problem. Now, let's go ahead and look at another example. Example 2. Solve for the following. Here we have a binomial on the top divided by a monomial. So what we can kind of do is deconstruct this a little bit more to make it a little bit easier to solve. So we can go negative 3x squared y to the third divided by 3x squared plus 9x to the sixth divided by 3x squared. So what we just did is we deconstructed it and made it to an easier problem for us to deal with. So this first term, we can look at it. So we have negative 3 divided by 3. So we're just going to look at the numbers here. So negative 3 divided by 3 is just negative 1. Next we see we have an x squared and we only have an x squared up here. So how we would do that, as before, we go x squared and then we go ahead and take this exponent and subtract it from the top. So we have 2 minus 2. Now we have y to the third. Now we get to leave it as is because we have no y on the bottom, so we don't have the same base. So this is our first term before it's simplified further. So now let's look at the second term. So we have 9 divided by 3. So that is just equal to 3. Next we have x to the 6th, and then we need to go ahead and subtract the bottom number in order to move it to the top. So essentially what we're doing is having x to the 6th, x to the negative 2, and then in order to combine them we go 6 minus 2. So that's how we get this x squared to the top, is doing it like this. So now we're done, except we need to simplify. So we have negative 1. Now this 2 minus 2 actually just makes this whole x cross out, and so we're left with just y to the third. Plus 3x, 6 minus 2 is 4. And this would be our final solution. Now let's go ahead and look at one last example. Here we have a polynomial on the top, and we're going to need to divide it by this monomial on bottom. So let's go ahead and deconstruct it. So we have 8x to the fourth divided by 4x to the sixth. Now we can break it apart because we have the same denominator on each term. So it's okay to do this. So we have minus 12x to the 8th divided by 4x to the 6th plus 16x to the 9th, and then we have 4x to the 6th. Now let's go ahead and start working on this first term. So we have negative 8 divided by 4. So we have 8 divided by 4, which is 2, but we have a negative. So we have negative 2. Now we have x to the 4th, and we need to bring the 6 to the top by, and we do that by subtraction. So we have 4 minus 6. Next we have this minus sign we want to make sure we keep. Now we have 12 divided by 4, which is 3. Then we have x to the 8th. And then we need to go ahead and subtract the bottom, which is minus 6. Then we have plus. We have 16 divided by 4, which is equal to 4. Then we have x to the 9th, and we need to go ahead and subtract that 6. Now let's go ahead and reduce this to further. So we have negative 2x to the negative 2, because 4 minus 6, we can go 6 minus 4 and we get 2, but we have a larger negative number, so it's negative, which we can get that. We can have a negative exponent on the top here. Next we have minus 3x. 8 minus 6 is just 2, plus 4x. 9 minus 6 is 3. And this would be our final solution to this problem.